snowed, I went out with Monty. If you want to see what we got up to, stay tuned. As I'm walking around with Monty, I'm looking and thinking, what could I use to build a shelter? How can I get myself off the ground? What's good for fuel? What would be the best way to light it? So even if you're just going out in your local area with the dog, you can still be thinking survival, prepping, bushcraft. Just getting out with Monty on this unusually snowy day for northeast England gets you to have a look and see how things change. These trees, although bare, must be producing some heat, as the ground round about is free of snow. The ground here is crunchy, whereas it's melting in front of the houses, and under this bit where the trees have provided that little bit of extra warmth. A black plastic bag just laid on the ground. The snow's fallen on it. The black has gathered the heat. The snow's melted. A good method of providing water from improvised materials. It's easy to snap, and there's lots of it. Perhaps this could be insulation underneath an improvised bed. This water's snow melt, and although it's flowing new and it's flowing fast, it's still polluted. So you'll have to get the snow from the ground and melt that rather than use this lot. It's not the best water source in the world, but it's better than taking water out of the polluted river. Getting out on the ground allows you to find out all the little ways that aren't shown very well on the map and may or may not be blocked. Local knowledge is great, but you've got to gather it yourself. These two are crabapple trees. I know this because I got apples off them in the autumn. If I can recognise them in winter, I can also recognise other crabapple trees nearby and keep them in mind for next autumn. And here's the next one, identified a short distance away. You can also have the fun with the dog when you're out. It doesn't have to be always serious prepper bushcraft survival. Can this lot be used for tinder or bedding? There's only one way to find out, but unfortunately now is not the time. An overflow drain filled with cattails, a useful source of tinder. The following day the snow was melting. I went out with Monty to a place 3 kilometres further inland and 30 metres or 100 feet higher, and this is what we saw. As you can see, there's more snow about, being more exposed. With the wind chill and less heat from buildings, the snow lasts longer. Further uphill on the moors, the snow comes more often, is deeper and lays for longer. It's 3 days since it snowed, but we're 18 kilometres inland and at an altitude of 130 metres. Actually, today feels a lot warmer. Firstly, because there's no wind, and secondly, we're much further away from the coast and the salty sea air. Today you'll feel the cold on your nose and your ears, but down at the coast where it's warmer, you'll feel colder because the damp air gets into your bones. The same rules of using layers of clothes and staying cool rather than getting hot and then freeze apply. But in UK, because of the climate, you must always remember to have a waterproof layer somewhere close at hand. The snow's turned from white to grey because the sun has gone behind a cloud, and you can feel the temperature dropping by the minute. Temperature plays an important part of where people have their houses. In upland areas, and especially mountain areas, houses aren't built in the shade. It started to sleet down here on the coast. Up on the moors it'll be snow. But nevertheless, get out there, get training. You know it makes sense. It'll serve you well.